Hey, so welcome back to the channel. It's a beautiful day in Indiana. It's 75 degrees. It's a little windy out, but that's to be expected with March. It gets blustery around here. Oh, there went a rabbit. Scared up a rabbit. I might scare up some other animals while I'm out here too. I'm out in the woods right now on our property, and I'll catch up with you guys in just a second. So welcome to the part of the property you guys don't get to see very often. Our house, our eBay office, and everything we got going sits on precisely 16.5 acres of land. I know I often say 16.5, but I think that's dyslexia. So it is 15. Now I'm confused. 15.6 acres is what it is in all reality. And I am standing on what is called Boot Hill, what we call Boot Hill, and on our property. And the reason why it's called Boot Hill is that we have some pet cemetery up here. And that far one over there is right over there. That's Zoe. Zoe was a nice dog. She lived to be 16 years old. She was a good pooch. And it'll be sad to leave her behind. But from up here on top of the hill, through the brush this way, you can see one of our lakes. And I'll give you a better view of that lake here in a minute. But off this direction, and again, it's a lot nicer when it's all greened out. But out this way, we'll take you into the woods. And what I'm walking on right now is a deer path. And you can see there's some raspberry bush thorns in my way, but as soon as I move these, the deer don't seem to mind those so much. I'm going to walk on out here in the woods a little bit and give you a view of the stream. And out here is a kind of a path. It's a clear path that runs through there that we keep mowed, and it's a nice area. And Debbie does her walks out here. She walks about 10 miles a day on our property, and literally, I think the one round on our property is just over a mile if you walk the outside perimeter. She does the trail, and we're going through the woods here. And this takes you down towards the stream. I know that the boys have come out here and camped quite a bit. They've also camped on the other side of the stream quite a bit. Our property is on both sides, and this is kind of a view of the creek, and it's a bit of a bramble through here right now, but I'll give you a show what we got. The creek runs this way. It actually joins both of the lakes together, and that's what makes them lakes. Apparently, if they don't have a stream connecting them, they're technically ponds. But it's springtime here. The water level will come up a little bit more with the rains as they come. There's all kinds of fish swimming around in this creek and the lakes. I've caught bluegill, quite a bit of catfish. The catfish love this area. What else can I tell you I've caught out of here? Some bass, and get through these branches. I'm taking the path less traveled, and quite a few suckers, if you know what those are. And carp. So I just got caught on a strawberry bush, or a raspberry bush rather. There are raspberry bushes everywhere out here. There are the remnants of a campfire. So the boys have camped here before, and you get a nice bend in the creek here. I've actually sat down here and cast out that direction and caught quite a few catfish from this location. And I'll walk back out to the main trail now. And it goes this way and winds back towards the house. You might be able to see the house a little bit through the woods that direction. And that little white tank is a water tank that I kept out here. Debbie had a wildflower garden growing by the trail there, and I kept the tank there for that. In my previous videos, I've discussed the high winds that we've been having lately. It knocked our flagpole down. We had 70 plus mile per hour winds, and the reason I bring that up is that we've got a tree right there that has come down a little bit across the trail. You can still walk under it, as I just did, but this trail is big enough to bring Jeeps down, trucks down, and that's why we keep it as wide as we do. At one time we had 5 Jeeps on the property. I just scared some geese out of the creek. At one time we had 5 Jeeps on the property, and we're running them out here quite a bit. But as it's used now, it's mostly a walking trail. It gives you an idea for how wide it is, because you can get a vehicle down here without really scratching it up too bad if you keep it trimmed. Where I'm walking you to is the far end of the property. So our property sits down a county road, so there isn't a lot of traffic that goes by the house. But the far edge of our property, which I'm walking you back to, out past the woods and the lake, is there's a state highway out there. I thought, I may walk you through here and give you a view of lake number 2. Well, that was a walk through the briar and the bramble. It's kind of fun to walk through there. I was trying to get you a good view of the lake, and that kind of gives you an idea of this one. I'll walk around and give you another view. So each of the lakes, I hope that wind isn't too much for you. Each of the lakes are around 2 acres apiece. So they take up less than 5 acres combined. Just a hair, I think around 4 acres of the land is water, which is pretty cool. We've got a lot of deer that roam around on the property. Game cameras have shown, and I've kept track of them somewhat, because we don't hunt the deer ourselves, so we've kind of given them a safe haven. Not that we're opposed to hunting deer. Debbie's not fond of deer meat, and we don't kill things that we don't eat. So I've always thought that by giving them a safe haven, if it comes down to it and I need something to eat, I got plenty of deer. So there are also a lot of rabbits on the property. I scared one off a minute ago. Here's another view of the lake. This is that's the lake that's closest to Highway 18 here outside of Amboy and Converse, Indiana. And this is kind of our back pasture area. Several people have raised animals on this property in the past. I know that there have been sheep, goats, cattle, and horses have all been on this property at one time or another. I've been out on these lakes in our kayaks. We have 3 kayaks, one for me and one for each of the boys. because typically in the past it was always me and the boys going camping and doing adventure stuff. So I've fished these lakes from a kayak. There's a couple spots where you can successfully fish from the bank, but the woods go right up to the edge of the lake. So, except on the first lake where we built a deck, and I'll show you that in just a second as well. Still haven't gotten to the back of our property yet. I'll kind of show you in a map where I'm at. And you can see the steep slope on these lakes. So the lakes themselves were built, I believe, in the 1920s, late 1920s. And they were built as part of a watershed for the area farms. It's to mitigate flooding. So they were dug deep with drainage tiles from the fields running into Honey Creek. So it would drain the water out of the fields faster. And these retention lakes, if you will, retention ponds, that's their purpose, and that's why they were built. Our neighbor over here in this house across the 18, in this farm, his family has roots to this area to before Indiana was a state. And he shared with me a story of when he was young. He recently passed away. I believe he was 95 when he passed. But he shared with me stories about when he was young, swimming in these lakes. I wouldn't advise that. But he had some fond memories of that. This little area is a path I built for Debbie as part of her daily walk routine. And this area, which you can't tell right now, this is all Indiana sagebrush and wildflowers when it blooms in the springtime. And we're not yet to blooming season yet, although we're getting close. And I don't know if you can hear them, but the birds are screaming, so the birds think it's springtime. And this area here, this is the creek coming out of the second lake. But this is where the creek comes out on the back side of the other lake. And I can tell you back through the woods this way, it's great mushroom hunting back there. We find mushrooms back there every year. So if you're looking for mushrooms, that's where you need to go. And look at that, spring's coming. See? First buds of spring. This trail that I keep mowed out for, it's the width of the tractor's mower, so it's a 5-foot wide trail. Our zero turn is also 5 feet, so I can come back here and trim it as well. And then back here again is more, we just let it grow wild, so the grasses get tall. It gives the wildlife a place to bed down. The deer like it back there. You can see some mounds, and those mounds are courtesy of the Indiana Highway Department. At one point in time in the 1970s, this flat area here, the Highway Department was parking their vehicles on, and so they cleared it and flattened it so they could park their trucks here. And I think that all started on a bridge project across Honey Creek. At least that's the story I've been told. And then they just kept using it. You know, you let the state use your property and it'll take you a minute to get it back from them. In any case, it doesn't belong to the state, it belongs to us. And we're selling it. I'm now on the trail at the edge of the property, and we mow this out by the highway. So all of that green grass there is ours. on the other side of the fence. We've got the property posted as no trespassing, no hunting, no fishing. Of course, if you want to do that, you can. You're allowed to. And if you want to give somebody permission to do that, you can do that as well. However, we have this property, this wetlands and woods, designated with the Indiana Department of Natural Resources as a wildlife area. It gives us a break on the taxes, and it falls in line with what we wanted. We had no intention of building anything out here on this property. It was more about being able to enjoy nature. We love shooting guns, so it gave us a place to shoot, a place to fish, a place to kayak, a place to camp out. And we didn't want to build anything on it, so we didn't. And we kept that status with the DNR. Now that status can be changed fairly easily. You just have to go back to paying the taxes the way they're supposed to be. And then you'll have free reign again. And technically, we have free reign. You just can't build a permanent structure on here as long as we're getting a tax break. Again, which was perfect for what we wanted. Looks like I got a lot of branches to pick up. The storms have knocked down a ton of branches out here. And it's knocked down some dead wood in the woods. That's what was making it tough for me to cut through the woods a minute ago. A lot of the deer paths out there have fallen limbs across them. As I mentioned, the trail's big enough to get a vehicle down, and if you so wanted, you could come into the property through this gate. It's a brand new gate. We just put this up last year, and right there is the trail you go down. This is the area we just came from. That's the bigger of the two lakes. And I'll head back and show you the smaller lake. So I mentioned the deer and the fish and the rabbits as being part of the wildlife on the property. We also have resident raccoons and resident possums. Also foxes and coyotes running around on the property quite a bit. We have seen the occasional snake, but I think in all the time we lived here, maybe 3. And none of those were poisonous. So we'll knock on wood for that. What else can I tell you? Wildlife, that's what we were talking about. Waterfowl, ducks, geese, and then some water mammals. We do have river otters and beavers. Looking around for some of the evidence of the beavers, and I'm not seeing any right away, but it could be why this tree fell down over the trail. But they do eat away at the base of trees and knock them over. And they also dam up the stream, which the farmers don't like because that prevents the whole watershed initiative. So if we find a beaver dam, we're usually packing it up with some tannerite and sending the branches back into the sky just to open the waterway back up. That is crazy. You missed the whole conversation I was having with you because my camera decided to quit recording. You missed Oliver. I showed you Oliver. Oliver's one of our barn cats, and he's the oldest of them. We have about 9 barn cats that live in that barn right up there. We feed them, take care of them every day. They're good to have around to keep the rodent population out of the buildings. And they're good cats. They really are. They're kind of skittish. They're not entirely people friendly, but they don't hate people. They know where they're getting their food from. This is lake number 2, by the way. That's where I've arrived at. And this is the deck we built out here. It's about 10 feet up over the water, unless of course we get a lot of rain, and then that water will come right up to the base of the deck. And the banks of these lakes are built for that. Again, it was built as a watershed to keep flooding down, keep the water out of the farm fields, and it does its job. It really does. Animals I didn't tell you about. I told you about quite a few. But I neglected to mention this has got turtles in it. Various varieties, soft shell, snappers, and various sizes. Big turtles, little turtles, even turtles with chicken pox love hot dogs.
Even kids with chicken pox love hot dogs.
Anyway, pretty cool. This deck we built for our daughter's wedding. She got married on this deck. And we keep a table and chairs out here that the winds have nicely arranged for us, and I have not rearranged yet. And this trail will walk you by our little gun backstop. So these are wood beams here. That's the backstop. And then this is just debris that I've dumped here with the bucket from the tractor. And typically in the spring, I'll come through, clean that up, and dump it all behind here, throw some new lumber on the front of this, and create a new backstop just to keep the bullets from going through. And we can shoot all the way from the red barn and target into here. So if you're wanting to target in rifles, it's about, 150 yards or so. Not a bad little distance. But for handgun practice, things like that, it's a nice little range for that as well. This trail takes you back to the stream as it comes out of the smaller lake and heads on down towards Amboy, Indiana. Amboy's about 3 miles from here. So it's just a hop, skip, and a jump. There's a little Amish market there in Amboy, a car repair shop, a post office, everything you really need. So there's a look at the creek as it's coming out of the smaller lake, and then it carries on down this way. Across the other side of the creek, our property continues on that way and then widens out on that side of the creek. So, and you can see it better from the overhead map, but the woods are on both sides of the creek. This is an easy crossing point when the water gets really low. The tractor will drive across that just fine. The Jeeps will drive across that just fine. And you can see that it opens up. The farm field on the other side is not our property. We don't own any agricultural land, aside from the land we've got up by the barn for our garden. All the agricultural land is owned by farmers. And to be honest, that's how this land came into our possession. This land was part of the farmland that surrounds it. It was part of a family farm. And as family farming has changed over the years, and corporates, right, or trusts are now holding these properties, they've sold off the residential parts because, frankly, the children of a lot of farmers don't want to farm. So there's really no need to have residential property. So that's what we were looking for when we found this place. We were looking for something in the country. 10 plus acres is what I was shooting for. I wanted water right there so I could kayak and fish. I wanted plenty of room where I could shoot guns right here and not hurt anybody and not be under an ordinance that says I can't shoot guns, which is awesome. I also wanted to be in a place where I could hunt if I wanted to hunt. And we certainly can here. It's your own property. You can do what you want on it, which is what I loved, and still do. I came from an HOA in a subdivision. I grew up in a rural community, though, so it's not like it was strange to me. I knew what I wanted. I wanted to go back to my roots, and we certainly did that. But it was awesome getting out of Carmel, Indiana, is where I came from last. 16 years there, and prior to that, 25 years in downtown Indianapolis. So this has been awesome, living the free life. This is our little garden area over here. Obviously, nothing's planted yet. This is the first really good warm day we've had in a long time. But we got a few raised beds. Needs to be rearranged. Needs to be tilled. Far side of the garden is usually where we have corn, and we'll till that up. And what we till that up with is this guy right over here. Our orange gardening tool. So this guy is a Kubota BX 2680. It's got a 5-foot mowing deck on it, which is a little dirty, and it's got a bucket on the front. Comes with forks, which are real handy when you need to move stuff around. And for tilling up that garden, it comes with a tiller right there. And it also comes with a set of discs, which are back there. So that tractor is ready to go. And it comes with the property. So you got an instant tool to help you do what you need to do around here. Also, coming with the property is this Toro mower. Also has a 5-foot mowing deck on it. Great shape, both of them are. You could probably see videos of them on this channel running around. Those are our kayaks. If you asked me to leave them, I'd take that into consideration. There's 2 there, and there's another one, a green one, hanging up over there. Technically, 2 of them belong to my boys, but I bet if I asked them, they'd say, yeah, okay. And that Jeep over there, one of our many Jeeps. So I told you at one time we had 5 Jeeps. This is one of the 5. My sons and I rebuilt that Jeep. We saved it from the junkyard. It's a little dirty right now, but I think I'm going to keep that. So it's going to go with me. On this side, we have a little smoker that we keep out here. We smoke our hams out here in our ribs out here in the red barn. And then there's this little section. This cage we built for rabbits. So this was a rabbit home that Ethan, my youngest son, and I built. He had rabbits, and when he moved out, he took his last rabbit with him, and Debbie and I decided to make this a home for our barn cats. So the barn cats come out here, and they bed down in this hutch. We have a heat lamp here to keep them warm, and also have a heating pad there to keep them warm. And obviously their food and water there. In the summertime, we put a water trough with a float in it in here and hook a hose up to it, because there is water out here in the barn. And it runs off of a separate well than the house. And there's electricity out here in the barn as well. So that is the red barn. And then the next building up is a 30-foot by 60-foot garage. And it is right here. And you can see we park our RV right next to the garage. And we put in a 30 amp service on the other side of this RV. And we keep the batteries charged on it 24/7. So it's ready to rock and roll and hit the road whenever we decide we're ready to hit the road. And you can see the service is plugged in right there. Again, 30 foot by 60 foot. Let's get out of the wind a little bit. We can park, it's built as an 8-car garage. We've had 8+ vehicles in here. I put lines down on the floor to guide for parking, and that was for 5 vehicles. So Debbie would park here with her Jeep. I used to park my Jeep here. I got rid of my Jeep and got a Chrysler 300. This is where Austin would park, Ethan would park, or vice versa. and then a bounce around Jeep was down here. Since the boys have moved out, I parked the trailer in here because it used to sit in a red barn. And then we used to have, what we do is have this our project area, and we'd work on cars here, and we've worked on everything from Ford Explorers to other Jeeps, all kinds of stuff we've worked on in this area, which explains a little bit of that staining you're seeing on the floor there, because this garage has seen a lot of activity. It also serves as the woodworking shop when we were doing work on the house or building things, building projects. That's why you'll see scrap lumber. You'll see some lumber up there, and the rafters have quite a bit of lumber in it. Shortly after we moved in here, we built that loft and put the staircase up to the loft so that we could have extra storage space. And you'll know why. When we see the house, there's not a lot of attic space in the house. The attic space has been used as living space. And then about 2 years ago, I built the eBay office out here. And that's what this is. So this end is, as you all know, I do some voiceover recording work, so that's why it's all sound deadened at this end. I do audio recording work. I do meetings down here, video meetings, and then this end is the eBay packing table and eBay store outside. And we keep everything in bins on shelves to keep it organized. And that's why you saw when I came in these shelves, because that's packing materials. There is some inventory out here, like this is inventory, and you can see that it's already got SKUs on it, Jeep parts. And there's some inventory back over here on these shelves as well. But mostly it's packing materials there. And then out this door, there are 2 person doors on this building, one here and one down there. When you come out, you encounter our Generac whole house generator we had put in shortly after we moved here. That thing has been awesome. We haven't experienced any more than 10 seconds of power loss, and that kicks on. It 100% of the time has worked. It fires up every Wednesday, just as a test. Every Wednesday afternoon it fires on for about 15-20 minutes and then shuts itself back off. We've had regular maintenance on it. It runs on propane. We have a 1,000-gallon propane tank. And all of the power for the house comes in here right next to the Generac. And all the power is buried. So there are no power lines running from poles to the property. So there's one less thing you have to worry about. I love this bell. We found this bell at a sale. Someone was getting rid of it, and I always remember having a dinner bell on our properties when I was younger, so I had to have one. I'm walking you around to the front of the house. I'll walk out here so you can get a better view of it, and I'll throw up some pictures as well, still pictures. But this will give you an idea of the front of the house. And then that way are the, you can see the 2 barns, the garage and the red barn in the front of the house there. One of the things I wanted to show you while I was outside was our internet setup. So being in a rural area makes it difficult sometimes to get good internet. And that certainly was our challenge here. When we first moved in, we bought an internet service that was up and down all the time, and the speed was horrendous. And we were holding out hope they'd get fiber out to this area. And fiber's all the way around us, just not here. So what we did is that guy right up there, that is a cellular antenna. I paid a pretty penny for that. And it runs down the house, big cable, 4 lines running through it, because there's technically 4 antennas inside that antenna. And it runs inside the house to a cellular router. We operate on the T-Mobile network. unlocking the door. Okay, and I'm in the house. We operate on the T-Mobile network. It's interesting because I just got something from the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, and I hope it's what I'm looking for. And right there it is. So it is a 5G cellular router that runs to a meshed Wi-Fi network throughout the house here. It runs to another router on the far side, which then is hardwired out to the garage. Up and down speeds are awesome, and I've had zero downtime in 4.5 years? No, 5 years. In fact, I like it so much, it's the same technology I'm running in the RV. So when we travel in the RV, that's what we use. So I apparently left the door open too long, and we got a bird in the house. So it's time to capture a bird. There he goes. And you ask yourself, how do you capture a bird? Well, there's a good question. We're going to try this method. I think that method worked. We got a bird. And the cats were trying to get the bird too. I think my method proved to be more successful. So we're going to let the bird go back outside. Yeah, he's gone. Whew. Well, that was exciting. Now I got a towel to clean and a decoration to put back up on the mantle. Birds are crazy this time of year. They just do crazy stuff. I think they should be in a house or something. All right, so let me get rid of this towel and then I'll give you a quick tour. Well, since I just put the towel in the washing machine, we'll start with the laundry room. I'm on the back porch, and if you open up the back door, you will see where I came out of the garage a little while ago, right next to the Generac, which is sitting right over there. This is our little grilling porch. Got tables and chairs, a place to hang. Pleasant little area. Back porch. This is our primary laundry room, where we keep our deep freezer. Little barn sink we've got back here that we installed. In fact, this whole room was kind of our thing. When we bought the house, this was unfinished. So we built this laundry room. There was another laundry room, and still is. If you come down this hallway and turn right, and right here is laundry room number 2. So when the boys lived here, the washer and dryer sat right there, and this was their laundry room. It's now mostly a utility closet. That's where the water heater is. That's the pressure tank for the well for the house, and that's a water softener. And right there's where the washer and dryer sit. So if you so wanted to have a second laundry room, it's still plumbed. Everything works great. Before I get away from this into the house, since it's a lot of just walking around for no good reason, this hallway, if you remember, laundry room with back door was through this way, and this way is another entrance to the house. At one point in time, the house was broken up for housing veterans. One of the owners of the house basically had this as a kind of a halfway house where people could get back on their feet. And that was the separate entrance for them. And they shared that bathroom, which I'll get to in a minute. This room is the eBay room inside, where we keep a lot of our eBay inventory that isn't stored outside. And that's what we use this for. And that just happened within the last year or two. This was a guest bedroom. There was a bed in here, nightstands, the whole 9 yard, a TV on the wall, everything you wanted in a bedroom. That's what was there. So that counts as a bedroom, by the way, and not an eBay storage room. This room was my office when we first moved in. and was my office until I built that office outside. And the reason I built that office out in a 30-foot by 60-foot barn was because we needed an extra bedroom. So that's what this was. So this counts as a bedroom. That makes bedroom number 2. Number 2 on bedrooms. Bedroom number 3 is right around the corner here. And bedroom number 3 has its own bathroom. Has its own full bath. You saw us renovate this bedroom on another video, but I don't know how much detail we showed you about it, but it has a full bath. Everything's functional. All the plumbing's been recently checked. Everything works wonderfully in here. This bedroom was our youngest son's bedroom until he moved out. And across the hall from that bedroom is the full bath I referenced that the other 2 bedrooms would use. So it's got a shower, sink, and toilet in here. This leads us to, this was the second laundry room, and this is the living room, where I just captured a bird. Can't believe that bird got in here. Is there another bird? Oh no, that was the cat jumping around. So this fireplace is a wood burner. It works just wonderfully. In fact, it heats up the room so much I don't use it sometimes. I rarely use it. It has to be really cold, and my furnace has to not be working because that thing will kick out some heat. But it's a beautiful little mantle. I keep my camera collection on it and an Enfield rifle, which still works wonderfully as well. And my saxophones decorate the place. So I was a sax player at one point in time in my life and still like to play around with the piano. So little something more you heard about me. Around from the living room. So you're in the living room and literally you turn around and there's the kitchen. All of the appliances in the kitchen are new. And by all, I mean microwave, stove, and dishwasher are within a year old. I spent about $4,000 on those at Best Buy. They're very nice, all Wi-Fi equipped, state-of-the-art ovens, cooktop, microwave, dishwasher. The Samsung fridge is probably 4 or 5 years old, but still in great working condition. Works just fine. And plenty of counter space, as you see. You're playing with the piece of cardboard that I just tore off that FedEx letter and picked up. Plenty of counter space on both sides of the room, and an island in the middle, and plenty of storage space throughout on both sides. Pretty cool kitchen. We like it. As you move out of the kitchen area, we move into the stairwell area, or as we like to refer to it as the Africa room. And we call it that because of the decorations we put up here. My earliest memories are living in Africa. So some of this stuff came from there when my family was living in Africa. And that's kind of what this room is. And it's the stairway to lead upstairs. I'll take you there in a minute. In here is the front door. That's where I just threw the bird out. And a dining room. So we have a large farm table in here that sits 8 people. And obviously it's a mess because I've been moving things around. Living here by myself, you think I wouldn't make such a mess. And the internet I told you about is hiding back behind this bassinet over here in the corner that feeds the whole house. But it's a good-sized dining room. We had, up until about 3 months ago, 2 hutches in here for china cabinets. So we had this one, it used to sit over here, and we had a bigger one sitting here. We moved that there and got rid of the other one to open this back up. So we had a large curtain that matched the color of the walls to cover up the original entry door and windows, because this dining room, it used to be a porch, and it's not anymore. So this door leads into bedroom number 3. And I'm going to walk to the other side of the room to turn the lights on. So this is bedroom number 3. You can do a lot of things with this room. You could make this a living room. You could make this a family room. You could make it a home daycare if you wanted, because it's got a full bath connected to it. So it's a suite. My older son used this room as, this was his bedroom. Everything's perfectly functional in here as well. We've just recently gone through all the plumbing and electricity and make sure everything's working fine. He had a TV on this wall. He had a couch and coffee table in front of the TV, and he had a table behind the TV. On this side of the room, he had his bed, and he had turned that closet, so that whole wall is closets, by the way. He turned that closet into a desk. So he had those doors off and had a desk in there. We've since put the doors back on and made them all closets again. And obviously we're using this as temporary storage until we make our final move to the Sunshine State. Outside the normal bedroom door entrance, which is right here, you're back into the stairwell area, or Africa room as we call it, and that'll take you upstairs. So heading up the stairs, you'll see a tapestry here that does not come with the house, but it's part of the Africa room because it came from Africa. My mom bought that from an Ethiopian sitting by the side of the road on a day that she was a little chilly. So she just went up to him and said, "Can I buy your hip blanket from you?" And they said, "Sure." And they sold it to her. Things you could do. It was 1960 something. This is at the top of the stairs, another full bath. And if you're counting, that's, see, 1, 2, 3. This is bath number 4. And apparently the cats have gone crazy in bath number 4 and knocked a few things down. It's a full bath. There's a shower. And then if we go and this little area here at the top of the stairs, Debbie used as a little kitchenette. She spent a lot of downtime with some surgeries, and we didn't want her walking up and down the stairs. So we put that mini fridge in. There's an ice maker. There was a microwave that went to one of the sons when they moved out. There was a little oven kind of thing as well. So it was self-sufficient over here. She had shelves up here with food in them and cups and plates, and it was a kitchenette. It really was. This next room I'm walking into is kind of a hallway between the landing and the master bedroom, but it has a large double-wide closet. So there are actually 2 doors to this closet, and you can do a complete walk through the closet. And again, we're just storing stuff like you would in any closet, I guess. And across from the closet is a cat just went in the closet, and that's how cats get locked into rooms. This is Debbie's prayer closet. She spends a lot of time in this room, but it is also the upstairs furnace room. It's actually a heat pump, but that's another story. Through this door, we are now into the master bedroom, but I wanted to show you this door right here as you first walk in. That goes to a coffee porch sitting up on the second story outside of the house. You can see the master bedroom is a large by large room. You can see pretty far out all the way around us. It looks much better when it's a green day, as opposed to, the first warm day of the season when there's no leaves on the trees. But it gives you an idea of what you're looking at out your windows up here. You can see storms roll in from far away if that's what you enjoy. And the woods are back the other way. Connected to the master bedroom is a master bath. So this would be bathroom number 5. Master would be bedroom number 5. Dual sinks, countertop, plenty of storage underneath, a full walk-in closet, and a walk-in shower. And that, I think, is the full Monty on the tour of the property. I took you through the woods. I took you through the red barn. I mentioned that there's 2 wells. I mentioned there's a Generac. The cat just wants to be stuck in the closet, I think. So we'll close the door and open this door over here and see if it comes out. Come on, get out of there. Come on. There you go. Crazy cats. Mentioned some of the work we've done on the house. We've done a lot more work than I'm sure I'm mentioning since we've been here. One of the things I mentioned before was the internet service in the house, and that's something I'm pretty happy that I found. It's not your standard T-Mobile home service that you would just show up in your T-Mobile store and purchase. I actually got it through a company on the East Coast, and I pay for the service through them. They get the data lines in bulk. It's more of a business data line. So it's not a consumer kind of service. It's more of a business kind of service. And the speeds are just off the chart. It's my son, when he first moved into his house not far from here, went with T-Mobile's consumer version of this service, and it wasn't anything compared to this. And we cover all the house as well as this garage where, you know, all the eBay stuff runs through and all my video streaming comes from here. It's hardwired out here to a router that's hanging on the wall here. So it's all wireless out here, and we've got good up and down speeds. Hardly ever a glitch at all. As I mentioned, it's zero downtime. The only downtime we've had is when the power goes out on the property, and that 10 seconds before the Generac fires back up. That's literally the only downtime there is. And when both boys were living here at the house, they were gaming all the time. And I'm out here doing, you know, meetings online, streaming video. And we've had no issue. And the YouTube channel, BSonex, we have no issues with uploading and downloading videos to YouTube. So it's been awesome. Out here, one of the things I didn't show you before was this. I showed you the blue pressure tank in the house in the second laundry room / utility room. This is the pressure tank for the outside well. And the outside well sits outside the building on the property. I didn't show that to you, but it all comes in here and gets pressurized and then runs back out to the red barn and to the spigots on the outside of this building. Anyway, that's the place. And it's kind of heartbreaking that it's bittersweet, I guess, is the way to explain it. Time for us to move on. Next chapter, next season, if you will, of our lives. The eBay store is not going anywhere. BSonex isn't going anywhere. And that's been part of the issue on why things haven't moved and progressed as quickly as we'd like them to, is that it's difficult finding the right property for us where we're going to. I mean, we're selling 16 acres, 15.6 acres, and a 5-bedroom, 5-bath house. It takes a unique buyer, first of all, to find this house and want this house. I'm the property guy, right? So I wanted this house, not necessarily for the 5-bedroom, 5-bath. I wanted it for the lakes and the woods and the place to do my outdoor activities. And I wanted a place like this where I could do crafts, work on vehicles, eBay stuff, right? And that's what's hard to find. We're moving to an area where there's a lot more people, and so finding that land in our price point with the building we need on it. I don't need a lot of living space. I don't need a 5-bedroom, 5-bath house. We're looking for something a lot smaller than that. But I'd like to find this building sitting right next to it. That'll allow us to still bring our trailer in, unload for eBay, sort things, clean things up, get them listed, and get them out to you. So that's part of the delay more than anything, is getting that right match. We need to find a buyer for this, and we need to find a seller for us. It's like all this uniqueness needs to mesh somehow. If we were just looking for a house in suburbia, yeah, we'd be done with it, right? If we were selling a house in suburbia, we'd be done with it. It'd be listed, and I'm sure we'd have offers laying on us. But as it is, we've had 12 showings in the house in just over 2 weeks, and we've had positive feedback from those showings. We've had a couple say that it was priced a little high, but I think it was priced a little high for them. Because I truly believe if this is the property you want, we're in the right price range. I'll put a link to the property below in the video. You guys are welcome to go out and look at it. You're welcome to call a realtor and come look at it in person. I'd love for you to make an offer. Of course I would. I'd stay. I mean, I love this property. I really do. And I hope I find somebody that loves it as much as we do. Somebody that wants to take care of the barn cats. Those 9 cats need a loving family to come in and feed them and take care of them. The indoor cats are going with us. And somebody to be a good steward of the woods and the lakes and the property itself. Again, I don't have any problem with the owner of the property wanting to hunt deer or whatever it is they want to hunt on this property. It's their property. But if you're a hunter, you also are a conservationist. So I know that about hunters. They don't hunt just to kill. So I hope a good hunter finds the place, or somebody that likes to kayak, or somebody that likes to fish, or just somebody that likes to shoot. And somebody that's got kids. I mean, there's 5 bedrooms in there. So that's the plan. I've used up all of my time for this video, and I realize it's all been about the house, but I just wanted to get the word out that, hey, this beautiful property sitting here, please come take a look at it. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. We'll get back to the eBay stuff in the next video. I promise. And Deb will be on in a couple weeks, actually. I'm going to head back down to Florida. That's where she's at. I'm going to head back down to Florida and hang with her for about a week or so, and she's going to come back home with me because there's some things that need to be done around here, and I'm betting this house will sell by the time she gets back, and we're going to have to pack some things up. So that's the plan. We'll catch you next time.